Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes. Did you guys happen to see what Scotty Barnes did tonight? He went for like 21 points, 6 assists, and like 7 rebounds. What is that, like 21 to like 20, 34? He went for like 40 fantasy points if I had to guess. 20 points, like 6 assists, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, a couple blocks probably. Let's see. Yeah. 19 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, a block, a steal. Let's just add that up real quick. 19 plus 12, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 6, 7, 8, 30. Yeah, he went for like over 40. Mr. Scotty fucking Barnes. Did you guys also happen to see what this man did? If you have been playing OG Anunoby for the past few slates, let's take a look at his stat line. Let's just do it. 32 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. Yep. 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 All I can say is, fuck you, Scotty Barnes. Fuck you. That's all I gotta say. Alright, let's take a look back at my lineup from tonight. So, the core that I had tonight was Spencer Dinwiddie, Tim Hardaway Jr., Devin Booker, Jamal Murray. I'll take a 3 out of 4 on this. Spencer Dinwiddie was the kind of bust there. Devin Booker absolutely smashed. Tim Hardaway Jr. absolutely smashed. Jamal Murray absolutely smashed. So it was a good night here. Once again, a really good night in the Discord as well. Just pull up some nights. Green is green there for Zoobs. Tyler with the 4th place, $500. Just green here. Just keep. I'll just keep going. Just ton of green. Just boom, 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 boom. Just green everywhere. So if Discord is something you're interested in and you're on the YouTube side of things, I'll have a link to that down below in the comment section and on this subreddit where you can ask me whatever you want. I make posts for NFL, NBA every day. You can ask me questions. This was my post for today. As you can see, it gets a lot of traffic. Ask me whatever you want. I will respond to you. I will answer your questions. And like I said, if Discord is something you're interested in, where I have in-depth content, player pools, and stuff like that, cores and stuff like that, I'll have links to that below. If you ever need to get a hold of me, you can message me on Reddit or you can message me on Twitter at ToryLangley1992. So, go over my lineup tonight. So the funny thing is, okay, so hold on, let me take a sip of orange juice. The funny thing is, obviously, obviously I had Deadman core, and I had Deadman in my lineup, and I obviously have Mo Bamba in my lineup. So here's the thing that I was considering. I told everyone in the Discord, I was like, okay, either swap to Jovic or swap to Peyton Pritchard. Pretty much most of us swapped to Jovic. Also, Spoelstra, screw you for pretty much benching Jovic in the second half. Screw you. He was on pace to absolutely break the slate. He still went for 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, like 7x, which is still phenomenal. But screw you, Spoelstra. Screw you. But yeah, I had Deadman in my lineup, and I told everyone, listen, just swap to Jovic or swap to Peyton Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard absolutely smashed. But here's why I went to Jovic. So he was forward eligibility, and he was cheaper. So this is what I had. I had Deadman, and I had who did I have? I had Trey Murphy. And then I swapped off of Trey Murphy to Torrey Craig. So I had Peyton Pritchard and Torrey Craig over Jovic and Derek White. So that would actually scored a lot more. I do believe that Torrey Craig and the Peyton Pritchard one would have absolutely destroyed the Jovic and Derek White one. So that swap kind of screwed me, but Derek White was an absolute smash. Probably the only reason why I cashed. But yeah, so I run it on my lineup outside of the core with Derek White, Jason Tatum, Mo Bamba, and Jovic. Derek White was just an absolute must. But I run bad again. Jason Tatum, smashing. random blowout. Only plays 33 minutes in a phenomenal spot up against Atlanta. Derek White only plays 31 minutes. Loses minutes because of the blowout. Absolutely smashing. Devin Booker loses like a minute to 2 minutes in the game. Blowout. Uh, Jovic barely plays in the second half. Cool. Cool. So, running. Oh, don't forget about Mo Bamba. Just that was so weird. Like, he was in foul trouble the whole game, but they kept him in. He got injured. He went to the locker room. It was just so weird. But yeah, really good night. Really good night in the Discord as well. So, um, glad to have a good night after like 2 or 3 losing days. I don't know how many losing days it was, but glad to have a good night again. Let's go over this 3-game slate. So this is weird. I don't understand this, but the games lock at 10 p.m. at 10:30. We have a 3-game slate. It doesn't start until 10 p.m. So this is weird. I don't understand it, but let's do it. So Spurs at Sacramento. This game, 2 teams play fast, 2 teams play no defense. I think this game looks pretty good. Keldon Jokic, Devin Vassell, Trey Jones, I think are all firmly in play. Trey Jones didn't play as much last game, but I'm expecting those minutes to go up. So I think the main 4 guys here for the Spurs all look good. I think Jokic was definitely my favorite last game because I like the spot up against Yusuf Nurkic and Drew Eubanks. This time, who would my favorite be? I think Trey Jones, if he's going to play his normal minutes. And then I think probably going to go with Keldon. I think Keldon would be my favorite option on the Spurs right now. Trey Jones, Jakob Poeltl, and then Vassell. But you could put that in any order. I think all 4 of the main guys look good here for the Spurs in a really, really good matchup. So I do like all 4 of the main guys here for the Spurs. Charles Bassey will play the backup 5. I think minutes from him. He's probably going to play 15 minutes if the game stays close. If you think the game blows out, that's when he can really, really smash and play a lot more. So just a GPP play for Charles Bassey. Sochan's going to start. He's probably going to play anywhere from 25-ish to 30 minutes. I think he's a perfectly fine value on this slate. I think he's a very safe value on this slate. You're going to hear me say a lot of plays on this slate are just like fine plays because there really aren't a lot of standout value plays on this slate. So I actually think Sochan right now, it might be disgusting to say, might stand out as one of the better value plays on the slate. And it's disgusting, I know, but excuse me. With how the slate looks, yeah, I do like Sochan for value. Richardson, Keita Bates-Diop, Doug McDermott, these guys are all going to be in the rotation. Josh Richardson probably plays around 20-ish minutes. Keita Bates-Diop, I don't know if we can expect 31 minutes and 26 minutes again, but he will be in the rotation. Same with Doug McDermott. I think my favorite between these 3 is going to be Josh Richardson at 4K. I just think his role is definitely much safer than the others, and if Trey Jones is going to be limited again, that's going to help Josh Richardson out as well. So I think Richardson's a fine value. And I think Keita Bates-Diop and Doug McDermott are firmly in play for value. All right, on to Sacramento. So good spot here. I absolutely love Sabonis and Fox. I've been high on them every slate. Unfortunately, I was high on them last slate, played them, massive blowout, but I think this game's going to stay close. I absolutely love Sabonis. I absolutely love Fox. I think they make for 2 of the best spin-ups on the slate. I think both look really, really good. Like both a lot. And I think this value is fine too. So Kevin Huerter at 6K I think is pricey, right? But he's going to play over 30 minutes. He's been phenomenal this year with how he's playing. He's been a good rebounder as well. So I don't hate Kevin Huerter. I just wish this price tag was cheaper. So just a contrarian play for me. Malik Monk at 5.2K. You're going to have to consider guys like this on this slate. I think minutes-wise for him, normally he's probably going to play over 20 minutes. He's going to be productive when he's off the bench. So I think Monk is a completely okay play. Harrison Barnes, it's just fine. He's just there for me. I think he'll probably be popular tomorrow, especially if Keegan Murray's out. And then we're gonna have to monitor the Keegan Murray news. If he is out, Terrence Davis obviously started the second half. Absolutely nuked the slate in 26 minutes. Now, listen, Obviously, if he starts, if Keegan Murray's out, I'm going to like him for value. Obviously, he's going to be way over owned. Don't expect that kind of performance again. But I'm going to like him if Keegan's out and he starts. Yes, just going to be extremely, extremely popular. Keegan, if he plays, I think is a solid value play, assuming there is no limit. And then they could do a number of things if Keegan Murray's out. They could start Trey Lyles. They could start Okpala. They could start Terrence Davis. So we're just gonna have to monitor this news. I will say if Okpala starts, I'm probably not gonna go there at the Flatman. I think that's fish food. Um, not fish food. He's playable. Actually, he's playable. He's fine if he starts. But I'd much rather than start Trey Lyles over Okpala. Trey Lyles isn't a terrible. He's not a good or okay point per minute guy, but he's not terrible. So if Lyles does start, I think he's a fine value. But yeah, we'll just monitor the starting lineup. I'll make updates to the Reddit post, and I'll tell you who I like based off the starting lineup and if Keegan Murray's in or out, etc., etc. So make sure you do follow that Reddit post. I will make updates there. So not a lot of value on this slate, so it might be a little bit hard to fit in Kevin Durant, but if you want to play him, go for it. Portland has been very, very good defensively this year, so not the best spot for him. But yeah, no Kyrie Irving. Kevin Durant's going to lead this team. Going to have an insane usage rate. Fine with it. So, like Kevin Durant, if you can fit him in, I definitely do prefer these Sacramento spend ups though. So with Ben Simmons back, Claxton did lose minutes. Now I don't know. I don't think he's only going to play 18 minutes again. I think that was because he was playing absolutely terrible. I think normally we're going to get over 20 to 25 minutes for him, and then Ben Simmons will play probably, I don't know, 18 to 20. They'll play alongside each other some too, I believe, if I recall correctly. So I do like Claxton as a GPP play tomorrow. I think he's going to bounce back. I think he's going to have a good game. So like Claxton, Ben Simmons is just unplayable at this point. Goes from the number one pick, absolutely, career up on the up and up, and then is now a backup center. So can't go to Ben Simmons. I like Russell Neal for a bounce back kind of as well. He goes for 30 fantasy points every game, except for when I play him. He goes for 6, but not too worried about that. Normally, he's going to play around 35 minutes. Normally, he's going to stuff the stat sheet. I like Royce O'Neal as a bounce back candidate. I think he's a solid value at 5.3K. Joe Harris is probably going to play around 30 minutes, as you guys know. Very, very scoring dependent. 4.6K might be a little bit too pricey for him, but a playable value. I definitely do prefer Seth Curry to Joe Harris. I think Seth Curry just has the higher ceiling, and I think he's just the better fantasy point producer. So I like Curry for GPPs. He'll probably be a popular value if I had to guess, but yeah, I do like Seth Curry, and I think Cam Thomas is a viable play. Minutes wise for him, I think he probably plays at least 15 minutes. Going to chuck the ball when he's out there. I don't hate Cameron Thomas for value. Sumner's probably going to start. I believe he's been starting. Let's pull this up. Pretty sure he's been starting, right? Yeah, been starting. Expect similar minutes from him. So, yeah, don't mind some Sumner. I think he's a pretty good value play on this slate. Yuta Watanabe will be in the rotation, but I don't really think we need to do it on this slate. And that is it for Brooklyn. Onto the Portland side of things. So I do like Damian Lillard for GPPs. Good spot here. Whenever Damian Lillard's going up against a team like going up against Kevin Durant or something like that, he seems to show out. So gonna play huge minutes. It's a good spot for him. I do like Damian Lillard quite a bit for GPPs. Jeremy Grant is just the best basketball player in the universe. I mean, if you want to ride the Jeremy Grant train, be my guest. I'm gonna continue to fade, especially if he's gonna get ownership. But if you want to ride the train, be my guest. He's been phenomenal. I don't think he's going to continue doing this though, but be my guest if you want to ride that train. Can't get to Simons at this price tag with everyone back. Yusuf Nurkic at 6.8K was limited last game. They went to Drew Eubanks. He played 33 minutes. Now keep an eye on that. If we get news Nurkic is limited again, Drew Eubanks is going to become a very, very good value play on this slate. At 3.9K, going to be one of the better value plays. Now, I don't know if we're going to get that news, though. I really don't. So just be careful there. How much did Watford play? Only 11 minutes. So just be careful there. Hopefully we do get news if Nurkic is going to be limited or not. If I find anything, I will be posting that in the Discord, and I will post it on Reddit as well. Josh Hart at 6.5K is just there for me. He's playable, going to play huge minutes, but I don't really think he has a ceiling at that price tag. Justice Winslow is expected to be back, I believe, so that kind of muddies the water with things with the big rotation. So just be careful there. I'll make updates when we get more new clarity on that. And I don't think I'm going to anyone else. All right, on the Detroit side of things. So Cade Cunningham is going to continue to be out here. Isaiah Stewart, the beef stew, is going to be out. I like Jaden Ivey quite a bit, even at this price tag. He's just the clear number one on this team, but no Cade Cunningham. Stuffing the stat sheet, playing huge minutes. Yeah, I like Jaden Ivey. This grouping of Bojan, Sadiq Bey, these two guys, I think are fine options. You know, I'm not going to go out of my way to play either. Both have been. Sadiq Bey has just been god awful with Cade out. Bojan's been good with Cade out. I don't have a lean on which I like more, but I think both are playable. Marvin Bagley probably starts at the 5. I think he's a pretty good value at 5.9K. Like the spot up against Big Zoo for him. Minutes wise, I don't know how much he's going to play. I'd probably expect him to play around 30 minutes. So I do like Bagley. Killian Hayes. So randomly gets benched last game. If you played Killian Hayes, you got extremely, extremely unlucky. Now, if we're going to get normal minutes, like 30 to 35 minutes, starting at the point, I like Killian Hayes a lot. Now, if we're only going to get 20 to 25 minutes at this price tag, it's hard for me to go there. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. Alec Burks at 4.5K probably plays around 20 minutes off the bench. I don't hate it, just a playable value. And then I kind of like some Jalen Duren at 4.1K, who I think will probably play around 20 minutes. Not a lot of value on this slate. And if they want to limit Bagley, they're obviously going to go to Jalen Duren, who is a phenomenal rebounder. Obviously, we know Jalen Duren's a phenomenal rebounder. Guy that can block shots and stuff. So I'm kind of intrigued by Jalen Duren for GPPs. And if for some reason they start him, he's going to become one of like the best value play on the slate. I don't think they're going to start him, but I think there is a possibility that could happen. And I don't think I'm going to get to anyone else. On the Clipper side, so Paul George is going to be questionable. That is huge news. We'll go over it both ways. If he is in, it's Paul George at the top for me that I think looks good in a good spot against Detroit. Zubac will be fine. Morris will be fine. I think John Wall, pretty good play regardless if he's in or out. Probably going to play around mid-20s minutes. Just going to be a super, super high usage guy off the bench. Reggie Jackson at 4.7K if Paul George is in. Playable. Not going to go out of my way to do it. Same with Norman Powell. Like, these guys are just going to be playable. Luke Kennard is doubtful, so I think Terrence Mann is a viable value play now. Batum, viable, but they're all just playable if Paul George is in. If Paul George is out, though, Zubac is fine. Marcus Morris is going to look good. John Wall is going to look amazing. Reggie Jackson's going to look amazing. Norman Powell is going to look like a pretty good value play. Terrence Mann is going to look great. You know, you can throw guys like Batum will probably get more run. So it's going to be a lot to like if Paul George is in, or if Paul George is out. We're just going to have to monitor that news. So a lot of news to monitor tomorrow with like players being limited, etc., etc. So please make sure you come to my Reddit post. I will make updates throughout the night when we get more news. I hope this helped you guys, and I hope you guys had a good night, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.